Hello and welcome to day 14 of our Advent calendar. It means there's only 10 days until Christmas Eve and 11 until Christmas Day, which is exciting. We are looking, we have a small spotlight on the community today. We're focusing on the Nondescript Club in the village. The only nondescript club I've ever heard of, so they must be unique. And representing the Nondescript Club is Nancy, who is going to be reading us a poem called A Flanders Christmas. Nancy is from Belgium, and so this means an awful lot to her and her ideas of Christmas. So let's hand over to Nancy. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nancy and I'm representing the Nondescript Club in Lyndhurst. Today I will be reading a poem called A Carol from Flanders. A Carol from Flanders by Frederick Niven. In Flanders on Christmas morn, the trenches foemen lay, the German and the Britons born, and it was Christmas Day. The red sun rose on fields accursed, the grey folk fled away, but neither cared to fire the first, for it was Christmas Day. They called from each to each across the hideous disarray, for terrible had been their loss, oh, this Christmas Day. Their rifles all they set aside, one impulse to obey. 'Twas just the men on either side, just man and Christmas Day. They dug the graves for all their dead, and over them did pray. And Englishmen and Germans said, how strange a Christmas Day. Between the trenches then they met, they shook and e'en did play, at games on which their hearts were set, oh happy Christmas Day. Not all the emperors and kings, finances and they who rule us, could prevent these things, for it was Christmas Day. And ye who read this truthful rhyme from Flanders, kneel and say, God, speed the time when every day shall be as Christmas Day. And in Flemish we would say, gelukkige kerstdagen, a Merry Christmas from us all.
Thank you, Nancy. That was a beautiful reading. As all of us know or should know, much of World War I was fought on Flanders fields. There is that famous poem called On Flanders Field. But it reminds us of one of the things that Christ comes to do. When we talk about Christ's kingdom coming, or the kingdom of God coming, we talk about there being a difference and a new thing happening. And one of the titles of Jesus is the Prince of Peace. And he comes to bring peace instead of war. I'm just going to read us a short passage from Isaiah, a famous passage that is in front of the United Nations building in New York. And it's Isaiah chapter 2, verses 1 to 4. This is what Isaiah, son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the last days. The mountain of the Lord's temple will be established as the highest of the mountains. It will be exalted above the hills, and all nations will stream to it. Many people will come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the temple of the God of Jacob. He will teach us his ways so that we may walk in his paths. The law will go out from Zion, the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He will judge between the nations and will settle disputes for many peoples. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will not take up sword against nation, nor will they train for war anymore. That passage reminds us of the position that God wants for each one of us. And that when Jesus comes in all his glory, which is what we await at Advent, the second coming as well as celebrating the first, when Jesus comes in all his glory, there's not going to be disputes anymore. Everyone will have enough, and God will be in control, and God will be in charge. Instead of people spending their time and effort and money on beating their swords, beating their metals into swords and making weapons and trying to control and coerce. Instead, they'll be making plowshares and pruning hooks, because their aim is to feed the people and to make sure that everyone has what they need. I hope that that's been helpful for you as a reflection, and how exciting that is actually, that we move towards the coming kingdom of God. I personally can't wait for there to be no more war, and there to be enough for everyone to have what they need. Until tomorrow, may God bless you and keep you safe. Bye.